All right, this is going to be our last day of harvest, or I think it's going to be our last day of harvest. Maybe I should knock on wood. Okay. Just have a Pivot Bio trials to take off. There's 2 of them. Those guys are on their way. It's about 8 o'clock. We're going to start around 9. And yeah, it's really kind of bittersweet for corn. We don't have a ton of acres of corn, but it took long enough for us. Next year, I think we'll go a little bit quicker because we can start earlier. We'll have that whole dryer system set up and ready to go. But let's see what Dad thinks about how this harvest went. How did you think this went? This is day 14.
I thought it went really well. Extremely well.
Why do you say that?
Because everything worked when we started up.
That's true.
Everything worked. That means a lot. We bought a dryer that's really nice, and we had no idea what we bought. It was used dryer, and turn the gas on and turn the electricity on, and it worked.
Yeah. So what would you do different next year?
Start earlier.
Yeah, I agree.
Get out. Be done before this kind of weather sets in.
Yep.
We will be.
What was the worst part about harvest?
I don't know if there was a worst part.
I think we learned a lot.
Yeah.
Where the bottlenecks are going to be when you have your own system. Like unloading in an 8-inch auger just isn't fast enough.
No.
Loading out. I mean, you can never have enough storage, I don't think, but we'll solve that problem years down the road.
Yeah.
So. Just moving the grain cart up to the field. Dad's going to come pick me up, and then we'll, I don't know, 15 minutes, get that combine fired up, get it checked over, see if there's anything that needs to be greased. So yeah, get computers fired up. She's going to be cold, but it has been plugged in all night, so I feel pretty good about that. Get the engine up to temperature, so I think we'll be all right. All right, let's get this combine fired up. I got my little laser infrared thermometer dealie. I just thought it'd be kind of cool to see how much the block is heated up while being plugged in compared to the outside temperature. I suppose if I had it on the right setting. All right, 32 degrees. $40, $49. Okay, and then just a random piece. It's 13 degrees. 43. All right, so the block heater heated it up to about 49 was the warmest I seen. Where all this other stuff is about 15. So I would say it did its job. Let's get this pig fired up. Oh, it's probably not gonna like this, but whew. A bottle of water in here from Emma is froze. No problem. Rear ladder's down, I know. Ignore. Try to get it on a high idle, like 1100. Because you also don't want these big diesel engines to be running too cool, because then that's not good for them either. All right, so we got a problem already, and I don't know. It just always seems to happen when you really need something to work. It looks like the fuel filter gelled up on me, or at least the one on the side of the combine. So I can't rev all the way up to full RPM, which means I'm not going to be able to harvest. But Dad brought me some 911 stuff. We cleaned the filter out, and yeah, let's just hope and pray that this will work. All right, so little update for you guys here today. We're trying to get this plot off. This will be the last corn we do for the year, but boy, what a weird turn of events. As you know, it's been really cold out. I got the machine up here, the combine up here, and the fuel filter's gelled up. So we got new filters. We got it going again after some messing around. It took about 2 hours to go get the filters, get everything changed. So everything was running good, and I took 20 rows off, okay? And a big bearing on one of the shifts went out that drives the head. And it's a big bearing. But I'm familiar with the bearing. It happened on my previous machine a few times. I think I have one at the shop. So what we're gonna do now is unload, pull it down, get this thing in the shop and start ripping that bearing apart because I need to get this done and ready to go. So come join me taking this big combine apart. So let's go. All right, let me give you a quick update before I start ripping this thing apart. There's a big bearing bind here. It's a non-greasable sealed bearing. That's what went out. So I got to take this guy apart, get this belt off. That whole shiv's got to come off. That's pretty heavy. But after that, it's a pretty straightforward process. So I should be able to get that off today at the very least and get a bearing ordered or see if the one that I have works. Let's get to work. I got my tool bench here and see if we can get this thing done without any issues. All right, so I got that all apart and I decided we're gonna try to permanently fix this thing once and for all. I've had this problem before with a previous New Holland combine and now it's reared its head on this combine. So this is a sealed bearing and a housing that is shaped to like hold some water. And I just think over time that water sits in there and that moisture and it really wreaks havoc on that bearing. And there's no grease in there, like it's not greasable, so you can't push out that water. You know, where you could hit it with a couple pumps every other day to keep that water out. So we're gonna drill and tap this thing for a grease cert. I went to Parts City here in Marathon. They always got what I need, so shout out to those guys. We're gonna put like a external grease cert on it and run a line to it, and then I can service that, maintain that throughout the year, and push that water out when needed because it just happens. It's been happening way too much. So, for instance, I've had two CRs now, New Holland CRs, and I actually have 3 of those bearings on hand in my shop because it's happened that many times. I think this is now the 4th or 5th time it's happened between 2 combines. So that's my story. Let's get back in the shop and get this thing drilled and tapped and ready for tomorrow. All right, I got that shiv off. That's what that looks like. It's very heavy. I actually took everything apart already so you can't see the broken bearing. I've done this a couple times, so I was pretty efficient at it. Let's see if I can find the broken piece. I can't. But here's the new bearing. Here's the housing. We're gonna put a grease line right there. And if you can kind of see, the water likes to sit down in here and then it's kind of concave. So see when we fix this bad boy up. Here's what I got going on. So I drilled and tapped this bearing housing. I put a mark there where the hole is for the grease. Got the other end to a grease cert. And then for now, I'll just zip tie this line up somewhere on the machine and then put it into a grease bank this winter when I bring it in for service. So, well, it went back together, but not without a fight. Not sure how dirty my face is, but that's besides the point. So everything's back together and ready and operable. I put that grease line in, so I think this bearing is going to last a lot longer than the previous bearings. Now we just got to get everybody back to do the plot, and we'll grease it up in the morning. We'll do the bearings, and this thing shouldn't have an issue today because it's been sitting in the shop. So that is harvest day 14. It's kind of my first big hiccup here, but it is what it is. That's farming. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow again.